about constipation. They're talking about what happens when you hold your bowels. You have to have a bowel movement. You hold it in. You don't find a bathroom to go, and your body can actually, it will cause your body harm. You can, it teaches your body to not go when it's supposed to. And so if you start to have constipation problems, a way to overcome it, not just with the things that we've been talking about, but you tell your body when to go. And even if you don't feel like you have to go, you just ate breakfast, say it's a half hour later, and you sit on the toilet, and you tell your body it's time to go. And you can actually train your body to go at a certain time after you eat every time. Sometimes you have to use some water, like a fleet enema or something, to get it to go when you want it to do, but you will eventually be able to train your body back to the normal bowel movements if you're having irregular bowel movements, such as 3 times a week, or 3 times a week, which is very, very unhealthy. The next step is the death range, and we'll talk about the constipation chart.
So the BM stands for bowel movement.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Should I write that on the board, or?
You can.
I didn't realize my handwriting was so bad, but. These are all daily. Okay. So the constipation chart says, nearly the entire race is afflicted with constipation. Waste matter is left entirely too long in the body. Cause, wrong diet is the main cause. Eating foods that do not contain enough roughage or bulk, otherwise known as fiber, and also foods which are devitalized, lack of devitalized. So your processed foods, white rice, white flour, etc. Lack of muscular tone in bowels from lack of exercise. That's why you see, we were talking earlier about the people with the big stomachs and stuff. It's from that hang and everything. The intestines are not toned up, so they become flabby. Improper mastication of food. So if you don't chew your food up well enough, because where does digestion start?
In the mouth.
In the mouth. So if you don't chew it up enough, it's got to do it in your stomach, and it's going to take a lot longer, because does your stomach have teeth? No. So you want to make it all the way chewed up before you swallow it.
So how many times should we chew our food again? I know, like 40 or something like that?
Just until it's chewed up, you know.
It's more liquid.
Yeah, just where, if you think about, you make a smoothie, like that. You know, it's just, there's no chunks in it.
And I heard that we should drink our foods and eat our liquids.
That's a good saying. Because when you're drinking like a smoothie, you should chew, because the chewing action is what causes the saliva digestive enzymes in your mouth to come about. But if you bypass it like you're drinking with a straw, then it's not going to get all the digestion, so it's going to take longer than it would. I mean, it's still faster than having like chunks of food in your stomach, you know what I mean? Because your stomach doesn't have to chew it up, but it doesn't have all the enzymes that it needs, or as many, you know. Do you have a question, sir?
Oh, well, it's a statement or a comment, but I mean, I used to before, I used to chew my food maybe 100 times, even 1,000. I mean, that used to be one of the things I used to do. And
Too many.
Yeah, because I was kind of pushed to do that.
Yeah. That's why when people say numbers, I'm just like, depends what you're eating.
They say chew 1,000 times, but I have to chew over.
As long as it's well mixed with the saliva.
Yeah, well mixed with the saliva is not chunks of food, you know. So,
Like water to me?
Okay, so wrong diet is the main cause. Eating foods that contain meat, you know, a meat diet. Too many varieties of food at one meal, eating food that is too concentrated. So like nut butter, you can eat too much of that. I mean, everything you can eat too much of, but
So when it says concentrated, what does it mean by food that is too concentrated? Like, is it concentrated food like almond?
well, concentrated is like, for instance, I guess you could say maybe an almond in the sense that, and God taught me this one time. When we go to the store and we buy almonds, they're already, do they have a shell on it?
No.
No.
No, right? So then we can take handfuls and just eat handfuls of it. Really in a matter of a short time, right? But if you try to eat an almond naturally from the tree, what's on the outside?
Shell.
Fruit.
The shell.
Yeah, the
Where
fruit.
So you have to break the shell, get it out of there, and eat it. And so it takes a long time to get those many handfuls of nuts. And by the time you crack about 10 nuts, you're like, I'm done. You know?
But the thing is, it should be like that because you're not supposed to eat.
Yes. And you know the 20-minute
It's designed.
delay between your brain and your stomach and all that stuff. So I actually one time, because you know pistachios, they have them in the shell.
Mhm.
But you can do those really fast.
Yeah.
And I was eating those. This was about the same, well, actually at the same family's house that I was talking about before. But anyway, and next thing you know, I ate like 50 of those things.
I love it.
And I was like, oh no, because you know the Spirit of Prophecy says we should have a minimum amount of nuts. I can't remember what she says.
Like a handful or something.
Handful or
like that,
something.
yeah.
Palm handful, yeah.
Yeah, so I just ate like a, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that because it's hard on your body, you know. If it's too much, then naturally you should eat. Just like if you, nobody does that, but if you have olive oil and you just drink a cup of it, I mean, your stomach's not going to be happy about it, right? Same with the nut butters, you know, because it's all ground up and stuff. Let's see. Using coffee, tea, and liquor of all kinds. Irregular habits of attending to the calls of nature. So that's what we were talking about, if you hold it in. Coffee, tea, and liquor, they're all, what's the word? When you become dehydrated?
So caffeine, they all have caffeine. Well, no. The tea that I was talking about is talking about caffeinated.
Caffeinated tea, yeah. Because caffeine itself, you have to, it takes the water out of your system. And so then you need to drink more water if you're going to drink coffee and tea or liquor, because it dehydrates you.
Yeah.
And when you become dehydrated, what do you become?
Sick and stressed
Constipated.
and
Constipated.
constipated.
Yeah, because your bowels need water.
Because your bowels need water, and it's taking away from that, and it's also making you need more water. Irregular habits of attending to the calls of nature, sedentary life, which is no exercise, like how we should walk after we eat. You know, we don't have to go running or anything, just this nice walk just gets everything moving. And lack of exercise, same thing, are other contributory factors to this almost universal ailment, constipation.
Oh my God, it's really cool.
The life-giving properties which would aid digestion are removed from the foods we eat, or are spoiled by improper cooking and wrong combinations. Excessive use of drugs and patent medicines is a frequent cause of constipation, tumors, etc. So you know when people have surgery or they're on pain medication, and they also have to be on a laxative or something because they become severely constipated. And then the foods that we eat, if they're spoiled, not cooked properly, wrong combinations. I mean, I don't know how many times I've been in places and they don't cook the beans enough.
Oh
I
my.
mean, they can't be good for you. You're like, oh, these are kind of hard.
Number one, you gotta soak them first.
Yeah, I mean, when you get them in the can, they're always harder than if you cook them at home. Because they don't cook them long enough so that they stay solid in the can, you know. And so, it's a frequent cause of constipation, tumors, etc. So symptoms are coated tongue, foul breath, backache, headache, mental dullness, depression, insomnia, loss of appetite, and various pains. So the coated tongue,
That's probably pretty severe then if you're like pretty severely constipated, right?
well, most people are and they just don't know it. Severely, there's different levels of severely because there can be the person that, we'll learn about this, only 3 times a week, or 0 to 1 a day, or just 1 a day. These are all severely constipated. So most people I know, it's this one. Yes.
I do have 2 things about that. So what is coated tongue?
Coated tongue is when you get like a white film on your tongue. I don't know if you've seen people talk and there's that white, that's like the fungus that we're talking about,
And then what is
or the yeast. And insomnia is when you can't sleep. So, when you have toxins in your system, you get, let's just start from the top, you get foul breath. Why do you think you get foul breath?
Well, because
Because
toxins
toxins.
and so
It begins thing, it ferments.
it's fermented stuff.
But, what's fermented?
The food and the poop.
That's right, and so then your poop smells, right, when it comes out?
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming up this way,
Oh my.
because it's all up in there and it's contaminating your system. So that's why sometimes people's breath smells like that. You're like, oh, they're constipated. Backache, why do you think you get a backache?
Well, because your intestines are down there, right?
Exactly, so it's putting pressure,
On your back.
putting pressure.
And it would affect the kidneys as well, and
Yes.
kidney problems always
Mhm.
create lower back pain.
Headache. Anybody?
Not me.
I get headache, but I know it's not from that.
Poor circulation.
Well, a headache, your blood is probably too thick. I mean, I'm not exactly sure the science of it, but
Different types of headache.
Toxins.
I know that if I get a headache, I just drink water, it goes away.
It's not
You're dehydrated. More likely that's what's happening, or if you get a headache, it could be, something's being blocked with the muscles and stuff, but more than likely you're dehydrated. Mental dullness from the toxins cloud your brain, just like if you drink alcohol, your brain gets cloudy, Depression, insomnia, those 2 things. When you're constipated, the toxins, they affect everything, and so when you're depressed, some people can't sleep. Some people can, some people can't. Insomnia could be, other reasons, but if your body's not working the way it's supposed to be working, you're gonna have all kinds of problems like these. Loss of appetite, if you're, there's this thing that happens where if you have diabetes and your body becomes slow with your digestion and stuff, and then your stomach tries to hold on to the food to not release it into the intestines because it doesn't want to make your sugar too high because it's already high, and there's all these things with your body, how it is working with everything else in your body, and so you'll lose your appetite because there's still food in there. So if you're backed up, there could be still food in there, and various pains, which
Maybe.
gout and stuff like that is like too much acid, like the pastor was talking about, in your system. It causes pains in your joints and other things like that. So this is the chart that you have in front of you, which is here. What can cause the problem of constipation? Fats and oils. Now these plus signs mean that they actually make you more constipated. And the minus means they're good for reducing constipation.
So about like fats and oils, what kind of fats and oils would that be?
We're talking about like concentrated
Processed.
oils, processed oils,
Yeah, okay.
cooked oils, Cooked vegetables are a -5. Soy milk is actually a +5, which I was surprised about that.
Hmm.
And high fiber is a -10. Sugar is not good. Cow's milk is bad. Low fiber, which we talked about, is bad. Junk foods, which is the devitalized things. Eating in between meals is bad for constipation. Why?
Well, because then your body stops because it wants to digest the other stuff.
Right.
You know.
So
yeah.
the stuff that's been digesting already the body has to stop digesting that and go to the new stuff to catch it up with the old stuff. And what does the old stuff do while it's waiting?
Rots.
It rots in there. And so we had learned earlier about wrongly cooked food and spoiled food and how that creates toxins and messes up your digestion. 8 glasses of water, which is a -10. So that's like the standard amount that people should drink. But it's, what is the formula for figuring out how much water you should drink?
Half your body's weight in ounces.
Half your body's weight in ounces. So a person that's 300 pounds is going to drink less or more water than someone that's 150 pounds. More, because they have more to process and get through the body, right? Flesh foods, we talked about how it creates for slow digestion. Drinking with meals is a +5. How come that is?
It dilutes the acid.
Yeah, it dilutes all the
So like
digestive
amylase, yeah.
digestive enzymes, and it creates a problem. So then here we have 3 glasses of water is a +10. Soy meats are a +10.
Soy beans are actually not good.
They're actually not good because they're so processed.
Veggie juice.
And so that's why it's better to eat tofu, like just plain tofu. You can make it taste good, but because soy meats are textured vegetable protein and all kinds of stuff. If
Oh,
you look at the
yeah, I know.
ingredients.
So tofu isn't processed.
It's not, it's a pre-digested protein, which means when you cook it and then you form it into the thing, it's not like the processed meats that's more like a chemical, we put chemicals and we do all this stuff. Stress, +5. Walking 2 to 3 times daily is a -10 because we need exercise. Dry beans are a +5. Beans are good because they have fiber and stuff like that, but I guess you shouldn't eat too many beans.
Not dry beans, at least.
Yeah,
Well,
not
what's dry beans? I
Some
mean,
people.
You gotta cook them for sure.
you can't eat it raw.
But Sister White says our diet should be mostly raw. So I think maybe for the beans then you'll have to soak it for a while. But I know sometimes when you soak it, it causes gas.
Well, the way you do that is you soak it, and then you pour off the water, and then what I do is I boil it for like 20 minutes, and I pour off the water, and I put more water, and I continue boiling it, and I boil it for a long time till it's
But
soft.
raw.
I mean, we should also have our cooked.
But she's talking about dry beans,
Oh,
which
okay.
which is the dried ones, and that takes the gas out because when you boil it for that 20 minutes, you see all the bubbles, and that's all the gassy stuff. I forget what it's called, something acid or something, and so when you pour it off and you fill it back with water, then there's not all that in there to create the gas. And I really noticed that it does make a difference. If I eat canned beans, you get gassy. If I make it myself like I do how I cook it, I tend to not really have a problem. Oh, wrong button. Okay. Vegetable juices are a -10. Walking 0 to 1 daily, +10. Green beans, -5. So I think the +10 here is because you should get more exercise.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Fruit juices, fruits cooked with grains, -5, -10. What is that?
Yeah, the poo diet. I think that's a mistake because it says.
I think that's a
-10.
mistake. This is probably a +10.
Yes.
Raw foods -5, grains +5. I think the reason like grains and beans and soy milk, Milk, where is it
Soy meats.
at? Oh, no, I
So
think
that's
it's
on the other page.
Oh, that was on the other page. Soy milk. Is because we're supposed to eat those in moderation. So
Yeah,
if we're
sure.
eating a lot of them, because I notice a lot of people will, when they eat their fruits, they'll eat a little bit of fruit and a whole lot of grains, and that will create constipation. Drugs, like we had talked about, will create constipation.
Ugh.
Vegetables raw, -5, soda +10, starch foods +5. Now why is starch foods +5?
Starch.
Sugar,
It turns to
breaks down
sugar, right?
glucose.
Well, it turns to sugar, but in terms of constipation, starchy is sticky. It's more of a sticky.
You can put it like into a gum-like texture.
Yeah, it's kind of like, white flour is like a starch.
Okay, because I know someone that can't have any starch.
Mm-hmm. How come?
I don't know, Kevin? Kevin Engineer?
Oh yeah. No. That was because he had he was poisoned by something. He got on a wound, so there was something in his system,
Mm.
and his body didn't handle starch.
Interesting.
So he couldn't have beans. He couldn't have all kinds of.
Yeah, his diet is very, very limited.
Yeah, I understand. Oops.
There
Okay.
it is.
Okay, so let's see. Should I? Let me just look here. Okay, so I'll go through all these and then I'll show you how the chart works. Okay. So, when you're going to help somebody that has constipation, there's different ways to help them. Now, the ones we have gone over already are just kind of like lifestyle, eating, exercise, drinking type things. And so you'll use this chart here and with these numbers to figure out where they're at and how to reduce it to the proper amount of bowel movements a day, which is 2 to 3 times a day. Right. Because how many times should we be eating a day?
2 to 3.
3 times.
2 to 3. So it makes sense that we should have
2 to 3.
2 to 3 bowel movements. So usually people are up here somewhere and you have to bring them down to here. And so you use these numbers to figure it out. So these are like natural type remedies that will help a person. So bowel cleanser, -10. So, okay, it's on here. So then a bowel cleanser, I don't have it right now, but Pastor Smith said that he'll make copies and give them to you with all these kind of numbers and stuff on it.
Oh, okay.
But on there, it will tell you how to make a bowel cleanser. And basically you add things to it like you start with like a fiber like flaxseed or what is that one, psyllium seed, and then you want to add some herbs that stimulate the bowel to make them not spasm so much, but to get them to do the peristalsis part. And like senna here, you can take senna like every other day, and it stimulates your bowels. It's like a stimulant. So it gets your bowels to move. So sometimes if you take too much of it, you'll get like spasms and stuff. So you have to be careful with senna for some people. Some people, like for me, I've really never noticed senna working for me, but it sometimes really cramps up another person.
What is bowel cleanser again?
It's a combination of like a fiber, which is
Okay.
let's see, do I have it on here? I do. So I made up a bowel cleanser in class when I went to medical missionary school, and I called it With Ease. And it was a half a pound of psyllium seed husks, a half a pound of flaxseed ground, 1 part slippery elm, 1 part chia seed, 1 part apple fiber, and 11 tablespoons of senna. So,
This is edible?
and what you do is you mix it all up, it's like a powder, and then you take,
Mix it with your food.
1 tablespoon of mixture in 6 to 8 ounces of water or juice, 2 to 3 times a day.
So it's not,
So you drink it.
oh, okay.
So like, have you seen like Metamucil on TV?
Mm-hmm.
Or, like in the pharmacy? And it's just like a fiber and then they put some other stuff in it. So this is kind of like a natural one with no chemicals and stuff. And then you want to make sure you drink plenty of water also throughout the day. So it's basically like a fiber, you're taking fiber to get things moving, and then there's the herbs to help it, you know, like, have you heard that if you drink a lot of apple juice, it'll make you go to the bathroom?
I've heard that warm apple juice and warm prune juice.
Yeah, like prune juice, people
Yeah, prune
drink
juice,
that
yes, but I've
for,
never heard of apple juice.
yeah, apple juice will work. And then senna, like I said, is a stimulant, and so you just put all those things into one
Mixture.
and then you can take it 2 to 3 times a day in juice or water.
So what are the ingredients again for that recipe?
Well, I don't know if it comes later, but it's a 1/2 pound of psyllium seed husks, a 1/2 pound of flaxseed ground, and I can give this to you after if you don't
Okay.
get it. 1 part slippery elm, 1 part chia seed, 1 part apple fiber. Oh, and all those 3 things, the slippery elm, chia seed, and apple fiber equals 1/3 pound. So you do equal parts of those 3 things to equal 1/3 pound, and then 11 tablespoons of senna. And then that is what can be like your, but there's different combinations, like, I'll have to look it up. There's like a list of things that you can choose from and make your own, because you don't have to have those, like mandrake right here. You can use that instead of senna. You can use aloe instead of senna or mandrake.
And we find all these at the health food store, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
One day, can you do a demo for us?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
And then buckthorn bark. This tastes terrible, but Cascara sagrada, it's hard to say. Fennel seeds.
Those are more mild.
They're more mild. I think these are more mild. That's why you can give them to these
The aloes.
children and stuff.
Aloes, that's just aloe vera, right?
It's aloe vera. It's the
The
skins, you know.
The gel,
skin?
the gel stuff or the skin?
The skins. You get it like in a powder or something.
Mm.
Because the inside of the aloe is more like for healing your digestion. This is to make you go to the bathroom. So if you eat the whole thing, you know, the whole without the thorns on it, then you'll get both things. Oh, and then an enema or colonic enema, training enema. Do you know the difference between all these?
No, I don't.
No.
Okay. So, a training enema is the fleet enema. Have you guys seen those? It's like a little bottle about this big. It's got a little. I should have brought one, but I don't know where they are. I can later.
I know where they are.
Well, we can do it later.
Okay.
But it's just like a little bottle with like a little tip on it, you know, so that it can go in and into your rectum there. And so you can buy them in the pharmacy section, and they come with like salt water and stuff inside there, but they also put some chemicals in there. And so one time I used it and when I was traveling, and I just used the water that it came with, and I was messed up. Like,
Make your own water.
yeah, so it's better to just use your own water, I think, because then you don't get the side effects of what they put in there. But anyway, so that is like a training enema, like I was saying, if you're trying to just get your bowels to obey you, like
Okay.
after
Oh.
breakfast, you know, 30 minutes after breakfast. And it's a safe amount because it's very little. It's only like 8 ounces or something. And so you just squeeze, like Ellen White for 4 years did that. She said she used a syringe. Syringes aren't like super big.
No, you can get your.
Yeah, like I've seen one maybe that big before, around like that. And so she just squirts the water in there, and that will just stimulate your bowels and help, you know, get it to move out. You know, kind of like diarrhea.
Mhm.
It's when the water gets added to the feces and then it will come out. The but this will be a way to get it out of there. So that's what that is, and then an enema is just, have you seen those red like hot water bottles? They're about that big.
Yeah.
And that's an enema, so that will just go in your, let's see, I think it was. So an enema will just fill this part up with water. And so then, if you haven't been able to go and you do an enema, it will get water all in here, and then all this will come out. That's what I'm there. But there's not enough water to go all the way like this, so a colonic enema is a bigger amount of water. I think it's 5 gallons or.
So that's how big your colon actually is. Like your colon can hold like 5.
Well, no. What happens is the water comes in, and then because there's so much water coming in, it will go this way. I think it goes over here too. And then when it becomes full, like enough, it'll start coming out.
Okay.
And so as you're putting water in, water's coming out. And so that's the colonic enema. And you have to be careful with those. You know, certain people, if they have something wrong with their intestines, you can harm them. You know, if they have a stricture or something like that. So you just have to be careful when you do those types of things. If there's pain, you know, I've done enemas myself, and you can kind of tell when it's enough water. Because you're like, oh, I gotta go, you know. But it's not hurting like pain. But if I were to get a pain, then you stop, you know. This is something that you can learn by experience, you know. So another way to get rid of constipation, dry prune and prune juice. Good for children, older, weak people, or old weak people, okay. Cooked prunes, figs, dried fruits cooked in apple juice, place over cooked grains. That will help them to have to go. Eating dry foods, interesting, I don't know what that means.
Dry
Massage,
food. Oh, dry
Maybe
food,
like
dry food.
crackers instead of like, cause like bread is a little bit, unless it's like zwieback. Maybe more like crackers, you know what I mean?
yeah, that
And
makes
I'm
sense.
wondering, like, maybe like dry fruits too, like raisins and stuff.
Mm-hmm,
Dry fruits.
yeah,
And probably like dry carrots and dry. You can dry basically dehydrate basically. Take the water out. I don't know.
no,
Okay.
I mean,
I'll have to
I
look
think
it up.
maybe it's what she said, possibly,
Mhm.
but dried fruits for sure, because they,
Cooked in apple juice, place over cooked greens.
yeah, well, because apple juice, remember, is the thing
Mhm.
that'll make you have to go, and then figs and prunes, and then, you know, raisins and stuff like that will,
Right.
because they have all the fiber, and then when you add it to the apple juice. Massage is good if you know how to do it. So when you have to know which side of your body your colon is on, which is the left side. And so if you look at the
The
picture.
left side.
Hmm?
The left side is your colon.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, see? Right there.
Oh, that side is the colon.
This is the colon.
I thought the colon was the whole thing.
Well, your descending colon, I
Yeah.
guess is what. Because this and this right here is where,
Most of the problems are, right?
well, is where most of the problems are, because this is where,
It
when this
dries,
gets
yeah.
full, this part gets full, you have to go to the bathroom. But if you're retaining it, then it backs up everything and this gets bigger. So this is the descending colon, is when this is full, then you're supposed to go to the bathroom. So, anyway, so then when you're massaging, if you start massaging from this side of the body, like this, you're trying to push it out, but it's all packed up in there. So you're just gonna what? You're gonna make it worse.
Okay, which side is the descending colon?
See the
Well, this
picture
picture is
there?
the same as if you're looking at me.
Yeah.
So this
It's the
is
left
the
side.
ascending, the transverse, and the descending. So whenever you're doing an enema, you tell the person to do this, And basically you're trying to you're kind of stimulating the intestines to move that direction. And so when you're doing massage, you're doing the same thing. And so what I'm saying is, you want to start at the end of it, like this part here. You want to start, and you push down this way, and then you come up a little bit more, and you push down, and then you move this way. So you're trying to get the stuff out that's closest to the exit before you try to get any other stuff to come out. So you start from here, and you massage it, and then you go this way, and like this, and then you can start doing that, you know. So when you do an enema or something like that, you have them do this, and you're just like, and when I went to I actually had a colonic done like professionally, and you know, she was just pressing it and pushing it like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it helps
Probably
to,
kind of softens it, kind of.
yeah, kind of like, and it stimulates peristalsis, you know, it's like acting like your muscles are supposed to do. So that's why massage is good. Okay, happy mental attitude, which means no
Stress free.
no stress, good digestion. So wrong combination we talked about, it's not good. Worship daily, which will create
No stress.
no stress. Liver cleanser.
That's important.
That's
Kidney cleanser.
Mine's 15. Oh, mine.
And these are the things that help get the toxins out. Whoa, wrong button. The melon corn soap tea, I believe that's the kidney cleanser one. And then steam bath. What does that do?
Open the pores and detoxify.
Exactly. Salt rub, does everyone know what that is?
This is like Epsom salt, right?
Yeah, Epsom salt rub, and so you're
Opening
opening
the
your
right?
pores and
But how does that work with constipation?
well, you're stimulating the movement of everything in your body. So you're getting the toxins out, and so then it's circulation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So all the oxygen and oxygen helps and all that stuff. Just like you're exercising. Blood cleanser, herbal chemo.
Never heard of that.
Interesting.
Golden silver burdock and red clover. Oh, yeah,
That's the
yeah,
real
blood
chemo.
cleanser. All right,
Yeah, so they're all cleansers and less toxins. Let's see. And then that video that we didn't see, he did an oil enema, and that was because the guy was so impacted with feces that he had to get some oil up in there, kind of like lube it up so it would come out.
Can you go back just a little bit? I just want to see the herbs. Okay, golden silver burdock and red clover. Okay, good.
Coffee enema, you do that with when you're doing the liver kidney cleansing. Like you do or is that gallbladder? It's a gallbladder liver flush where you do like the olive oil and the lemon juice, and you do the coffee enema, stimulates the bile to be released.
That's what Jurgisons do.
Hmm?
Have you ever heard of the Jurgisons? They do coffee enemas
Oh, okay.
for cancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, you're, I think it's the liver has the bile, right? And so then,
No,
Or is
it's
it
your
kidney?
gallbladder. No, like, yeah, your gallbladder produces the bile.
it produces bile?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's what it is,
It has to do with the liver and the gallbladder when you do the
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Anyways,
Yes.
the coffee enema is what stimulates the bile to be released so that it's kind of like you're cleaning house, you know?
So that's what bile is?
What is bile?
No, what is bile?
Bile is what breaks down your food and stuff.
It helps with digesting certain oils, I think.
Yeah, the fats.
Yeah, or the fats. Yes.
And then acidophilus is just, acidophilus is a probiotic that you need in your digestive, so you may not have enough of the probiotic stuff in there. I'm drawing a blank on what you call them. And so it helps things to move too and get digested. Seawater cleanse, what is it?
Clean.
Clean.
Helps
So
you be clean.
salt itself will stimulate your bowels. So I think seawater is because it has nutrients in it, whereas regular salt doesn't. Massage colon and walking is good for you, as we have discussed. Hot and cold enema could be for different reasons.
What about prune juice, dry fruits?
Over hot cereal, that's another, get you to have to go. I don't know about camphor, I'm not sure about that one.
You know what camphor is though, right?
What is it?
I know about mothballs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if it's the same camphor.
Well, mothballs have a lot of toxic
I know,
stuff in there.
and last night there was a smell in the room, and I asked Sister Tosh, and she said it's camphor with something else, so
Mm.
that was a smell.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
I don't know. Let's see. So low residue cooked foods, meats, cheese, eggs, sugar, sweet beverages, white flour, polished
Yeah, polished.
rice, refined foods, pasta, flesh foods. So all these are lacking fiber, nutrients. They can rot in there. They're
Not all pasta, right?
well, pasta, right? It's talking about white pasta mostly. Sugar is very harmful to your body, creates toxins, and this is lacking fiber here. Refined foods, of course, don't have the vitamins.
The pasta is probably talking about like the semolina, right?
I'm imagining it's the white pasta that it doesn't have any fiber in it.
Oh, okay.
Instead, use high fiber foods, and also, cause see, whole grain
Oh,
pasta.
yeah.
Legumes, whole grains, greens, fruits, nuts, sweet vegetables, whole grain bread, whole grain cereal, whole grain pastas, brown rice, and these all have what?
Whole
Fiber
grains,
and
fiber.
Fiber and vitamins, right? And they're closer to what God created. There's not all the processing and all that stuff. So that's a -15. Every morning, drink a half a glass of warm orange juice and a half a glass of warm water. Take bran with every meal is a -5. Now I find that as a diabetic, type 1, I can't drink orange juice like this, so I just have lemon. And Spirit of Prophecy talks about if you have, I think it's a half a lemon or a lemon in warm water in the morning,
Yes.
will start your digestive juices going, get your body ready for taking in food, and I found that to be true.
Right.
Take 2 to 3 retention enemas per day or as needed to cleanse the system. So this just means the one I was talking about with the red bag,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and when you first do it, a lot of times you can't get the whole bag in there, and so then you have to let the stuff come out, and then you do it again. And it's talking about taking it to where you can hold that whole bag in there, or whatever amount, I suppose, and you hold it in there. So this lady explained it to me once, which I thought made a lot of sense, in which if you're putting water, like say you cook a lasagna
Mm-hmm.
and it's all stuck on the sides, what do you do to get all that stuff off the sides of your pan?
Add water.
You soak it in water.
Mm-hmm.
We scrape it,
The
but-
water.
but the easiest is to soak it in water, and then it just comes right off.
Yeah, we always soak it in warm water. Like,
Right, warm water. So then when you do your enema, it's the same thing. You're putting water in there, and all that feces that may be harder and stuff is gonna, and all the stuff that's stuck on the walls of your intestines is gonna soak in the water, and then when it comes out, it's gonna all come out. Whereas if you just put it in there and take it right back out, it might still be there, and you have to do it a lot more times. So anyways, that's a -15.
So when you do an enema, can you retain the water for a period of time?
You can. Like they say about 15 minutes. It's like a good amount of time. So for myself, I haven't done it that long. Maybe 10 minutes. It just depends on how you can, if you can, depending on what's in there. And like if you did, like the best way, hold on, I gotta think slower.
You had 5 minutes.
I forgot what we were saying.
About retaining water in the
Oh, yeah.
colon and the best way. You only did about 10 minutes.
The best way is you do an enema to where, like if you have a hard time retaining it or whatever, you do one and then you let all the stuff come out and then do another one right after. And then all that poo is not still in there. And so you have more room. And
To
you
hold
can-
the water.
and it may be easier for you to hold it.
So it's good if you hold the water for.
Well, like I said, the longer you soak the pan,
Okay,
the
yeah.
easier it is to
Comes
get the
out,
stuff
yeah.
off of there.
And something that will fall off by itself.
Right, exactly. It's cleansing or cleaning program. Oh, this is the one we're talking about, the liver cleanser, lemon and olive oil, which is, also does your gallbladder. If you do the apple juice a few days before, where you drink a lot of apple juice and that softens the gallbladder stones. And then you do lemon and olive oil, which is like, you do it for 5 days, or you can do it for 3 days, depending on your need, like how severe your.
Do you want to fast kind of during those times?
You don't have to fast.
But you want to be careful that you don't eat anything harmful to the liver, right?
Well, yeah, you always want to, like we're talking about what you should eat.
Right.
But you're not going to want to eat necessarily, like, right after you drink it, because basically it's the juice of 5 lemons in an ounce of olive oil, and you mix it together and you drink it. And you do that on the first day. The second day you do 10 lemons in an ounce of olive oil and you drink it. And then the third day it's 15. And then if you want to continue, which you don't have to, but it's the fourth day is 20 lemons, the fifth day is 25 lemons.
You
same
go
in the
through a
ounce.
lot of lemons.
A lot of lemons. But I always thought you had to do the 25, but I guess 15 lemons is a good amount. And then you do the coffee enema after, and that will do the bile cleansing at the same time as the gallbladder, and then that's it. And so when I did it, I was able to eat, but the first day, I didn't want to eat anything for like most of the day, and then I had like a late lunch or something.
How do you take it in? Do you mean you just drink lemon and olive oil?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, you just mix it up and drink it.
All right.
Would it be better drinking with a straw because olive oil?
No, you.
Probably not, because like I said, the enzymes and stuff.
I would just spit in it and mix it and then just.
Yeah,
instead of,
I mean,
know.
drink as fast as you can. That's why day 5 is hard, because it's a lot of lemon juice. It's very like sour, you know. And these other things will cleanse the liver: milk thistle, dandelion. Kidney cleansing is like corn silk tea. I believe these are kidney cleansers: cleavers, peach leaves, uva ursi, sumac, and a skin cleanser, like a salt rub or a steam bath. These are all good things. Blood cleansers like red clover, yellow dock, burdock, bowel cleanser, and then so here a bowel cleanser is just as simple as psyllium husk powder. Take 1 tablespoon of 5 ounces of juice, shake well, drink before it gets thick. Do 2 times a day, and take senna 3 caps every other day. If diarrhea, stop a day or 2, then decrease the amount that is given.
The senna.
The senna, yeah. And I found that psyllium husk doesn't have a taste necessarily.
Yeah. No,
But
fiber doesn't taste. It's
It
not
doesn't
food.
really taste.
It's not food.
Yeah, but it's like, chunky, like,
Mhm.
and for myself, I'm like, why put it in juice? that just wastes the juice in my mind. Put it in water and just don't look at it and just drink it. And then I just drink it with more water and then drink the juice after that so that the juice, it just depends how you are.
Water is always better because it doesn't switch on your digestive system,
True.
and juice does. So
But,
think
I
it's
mean, it
Well, it's
depends, yeah, it depends when you're doing it, but like, you may want it to because you want this fiber to go through,
better.
But I find that I just, before I eat, a little while before, not like a whole long time, I'll just drink this, and then,
Mhm.
a little bit later I'll eat my breakfast, because it will like make you not hungry, but it's just to add fiber to get because the psyllium seed, the fiber, it scrapes the sides of your intestinal walls and gets off the stuff that's caked on there. So remember, the lungs need to be, they're one of your organs that eliminate. How much is it? Oh, that's it. So what do I do, just stop?
What's the next slide?
That's
Yeah.
when we get to the chart.
Okay, we can do the previous slide again. We can do this chart next
Okay.
class.
So, lung cleanser, colt's foot, peppermint, pleurisy root, garlic, onion, horseradish, honey.
So that's all good to cleanse.
The lung.
The
The lungs.
Mhm.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay, just keep this up. We can pray and then I'll just write it down.
Okay. Sister Jenna, will you pray?
Heavenly Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus, thanking you for being, oh God, thanking you for sending your Son to die for each of us. Thanking you for this day. It wasn't promised to us. And you have allowed us to remain on the land of the living. And as we go through this day, Lord, we ask that you would please take charge of our thoughts. Take charge of our attitudes, our behaviors, whatever we do, let it bring praise and honor to you. Let us represent you well. Be with us, Lord, and help us to retain, help us to apply, and help us to share the knowledge, the wisdom that we get. I ask that you pronounce a blessing on the Smiths family, and help us all to live lives that are pure and holy. Help us to strengthen each other and lift each other up in prayer. Be with the other members of our team who are on the road. Give them journey mercies. Bring them back safely to us. And Lord, when it's all said and done, may we be ready to meet you in peace. May we finish faithful.